for that. Can everybody hear me okay? See me okay, perhaps? So, my name is Ross Griffin, and I'm the founder of Kosmos. And we're a specialist cost consultant based out of Copenhagen. And I was chatting to Alan about the topic that we were going to talk about today. And we were going to look at kind of greater cost certainty and overall value from a quantity surveyor's perspective, or a quantity surveyor's contribution. And while thinking about that and modern methods of construction, I decided to focus on what the quantity surveyor can add in the future through digitalization and automation, and being a modern method of construction also. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So whether it's on-site or off-site construction, without good quality, unambiguous, clearly defined design material, there is no cost certainty or overall value creation. From a cost perspective, this is important, I think, and the QS will become more involved in this as we go through the BIM development and digitalization from a cost perspective and data collection from a cost perspective and so on. Modern methods through digitalization. Digitalization can increase the speed and accuracy from a cost perspective if the information is good quality. And what I mean by that is the design material coming from the design teams to the QS for them to do their cost estimates, to create their contract documentation, bill of quantities. If that information is of poor quality, the information going out to marketplace is also of poor quality. And that will only drive increased cost, change, claim, post-contract. So from a QS perspective, quality is everyone's responsibility. Time, cost, and quality, the trifecta. This is a team delivery and not any singularity within a team. This is everybody's responsibility, architect, engineer, project manager, and QS from our perspective. The QS now needs to understand the digital design process. The software that we are now using in order to create 3D, the likes of Rivet, ArchiCAD, Tekla, Solibri, and Navisworks for viewing and clash detection and so on. The reason being is that the QS will use the model in order to generate their cost estimate, bill of quantities, challenge the design, change management, and so on. And it's vital that we understand as QSs this. How many QSs in the room today, actually? Hands, show hands. That's a good enough turnout, that's good, yeah. How many are actually using 3D models for quantity extraction, quantity generation, bill of quantities? Okay, a few, excellent, good. So 3D, 4D, and 5D software solutions can offer endless possibilities. From a 3D perspective, you can get the sense of the building, you can get a sense of the scale of the different elements within the building. From 4D, location-based planning as a replacement of traditional Gantt chart can offer increased and reduced time and increased production in this area, 4D. And 5D, obviously, can offer cost control, change control, and so on. But all of this is dependent on the 3D model and the 3D design. Without a good quality 3D, 4D, and 5D really are a waste of time. Greater cost certainty through data collection and automation. Early cost analysis using accurate data. Data is one of the most important things when we talk about cost from a QS perspective. The collection of that needs to be in a standard format, whether it's ICMS, NRM, or SFB, which we use in the Nordics. It needs to be collected and collected digitally. PDFs these days, no good. We need to move away from that as quickly as possible. We need to get into our software to collect this data so that we can get into automation in the future. It is an important part of what we will do as QSs in the future. Integrated 3D design, where the QS and design team design together. Again, a trifecta. Discipline leads on the top, either architect, engineer, could be facade architect, could be plumbing engineer, electric engineer, with their modeler, with the QS, to deliver a design. This is the only way it will work in the future in order to get true cost certainty and value creation from a cost perspective. You will ask me what about contract structures and agreements and so on. We can get into that in terms of detail, but for now this is a quick introduction to what we see the QS is in the future. So continuous cost follow-up, focusing on major cost drivers and risk items, and impact of change on design. We see the QS sitting with the design team on a weekly, fortnightly basis, each individual discipline discussing how they're building the model, how they're coding it, how they're writing the spec, how the spec is linked to the model, and how the QS then will use those two processes of information to create their cost estimates, bill of quantities, and contracts. It's a continuous evolution during the design process in order to achieve high quality at the end. Quick identification of change and cost impact technology. Here's an example of a ventilation model from a project we're working on. The blue is the previous version, as in nothing has changed. The yellow is the previous version with elements that have moved slightly, and all the rest is a change. Now, this is detailed design in the very last weeks of delivery, and you can see the amount of change that has happened in that period. Now, from a QS perspective, when you add a new element to the model, it creates another level of work for us in linking and mapping our models to our cost breakdown structures and our bills of quantities. In order for this 5D to really work properly for automated updates, we need to, first of all, sit down and agree what we are going to call building elements or building parts within our model, so that the QS and the design team and the modeler are fully connected in this. This will speed up our process of change control, cost accuracy, our cost estimation, and so on. Greater overall value through collaboration. So I think collaboration, a lot of people, we're talking about it now. Some of our contracts are not set up for that quite yet, but this is coming, I think. In order for us to really add value for our clients and improve our market, collaboration is the only way forward. The QS is the final quality assurer of design. When we create the bill of quantities before it goes to market, the QS is the first entity that look at the design that is not design purpose. They look at it and they create something from that before it goes to market, before the contractors and the suppliers and so on dig into the design. So it's vital that the QS has an integrated role in the design process, so that they are creating the models with them to create their value at the end. So this is just a typical phased process. You can see that each of the discipline leads surrounded by dollar signs and money there. That's the cost manager, QS, in the center. We see that each of the gateways for delivery of the design to the client and the revision of the cost estimate at that stage, the QS's role is vital here. So they are the gateway, the gatekeeper of quality before it goes out to the marketplace or to the client. And for that, you need to have integration and collaboration. The QS evaluates the quality of the models and its information. Digging into model using your software, for example, this is CostX, but there's many different model software programs that you can use, Vico and again Navisworks and Solibri, to look at the quality of the models and vet that during the design process is a key role of the QS in the future from our perspective. And we see that the QS will understand the principles around the model, not the detail. They will never be modelers, they will never be designers, but they'll understand the process, understand how they extract information, and understand the quality of that information going forward. So the design team and disciplines should also review the cost estimates and bills of quantities, because the design team are the people that know their design the best, so they should also review the documentation before it's released. And this is something that we have tried to set up with our Danish partners. Again, a fully collaborative delivery process. So this also takes time, so it's important to get this planned from the very beginning with the team. Just an example of a cost estimate where we send it out to our discipline leads and project manager, they commented on it and send it back PDF version, and we update and track change in that sense, track comments. So it's a transparent process that we have with the design team and disciplines in order for them to add quality and value into these documents and the process. Again, collaborative delivery offers overall greater value through higher quality. So the future, this is very quick. The future, the digital quantity surveyor as we see it, We'll be driving cost certainty and value using technology in integrated and collaborative working teams. Our contracts will change in order for this to become more possible within the market. We'll end up changing our contracts and rewrite them so collaboration becomes much more at the forefront of how we deliver projects in order to create better value for our clients and better value for us as people working on projects. Very short and sweet for you guys. It's a little bit more focused around the digitization and BIM, not necessarily modularization, but this is certainly a modern method of construction as we see it going forward. And we will talk a little bit more about this later on in this program. That's a small introduction into it.
Very quick question.
No problem.
Should modularization mean greater control of cost?
In a sense, yes.
The cost of the offsite and the installation.
Yeah.
Should that mean then greater cost overall?
Yeah. The repeat of something, you will always get better at it, which means that cost certainty should come with that. But still, you still have to design a building. You still have to design the briefs for it. In order to do that, everybody needs to be involved, all stakeholders, so that the likes of companies that are developing it have the correct information and understand what they need to deliver in terms of that. And 3D as it comes, we will be using for facility management and so on. That entire process needs to be embedded in your design so that the output you get from that allows you to manage your building going forward, accurate life cycle costing, and in tracking of those costs during the life cycle of the building. But in order to do that, we need to start at the beginning, but understanding what we want at the end. Yeah. Cool. Thanks, guys.